these bits of junk into a nice hot smoker so you can hot smoke fish, make all kinds of smoked meats and things like that, chipotle sauce, whatever you can think of. I've got a barbecue lid from a council clean-up on the side of the road, old kitchen sink from the tip with the washboard still intact, a bit of old washboard here that I've already used for past projects. This is all the equipment that you'll need: some safety glasses, a good marker pen, some metal tech screws, cordless drill with a driver, your angle grinder, some more cutting blades. Alright, so we've got our sink back to bare bones, just metal, no fixtures or anything like that. First thing we're going to do is draw our line for where we're going to do the cut off. So use the straight edge, slash it along there. We're going to be able to get a smoker out of both of these sinks, so I want to cut it evenly between the two. If you've just got a single sink, you can make it really whatever size you like. Just before I start cutting, I'm going to whack my hearing protection in. I'm already deaf as a post as it is. Alright, we're just going to make a straight cut, or as straight as I can possibly do anyway. Alright, there we have it. That's our basic smoker cut out. Still a couple of little things to do. Make sure we remove any of the old silicone, any sealants like that, before we tack screw our plug hole plate on. Same on this side as well. Remove that stuff, because we don't want that to burn. Alright, once we've cut our smoker out to size, we're just going to do a little bit of a clean up with the grinder to make sure that we don't have any sharp edges or sharp corners to poke ourselves. Very good. And before we do the final step of putting on our plate over the plug hole, I'm just going to give this a good rinse. Alrighty, the next step we've got to do is cut a little piece of metal out to go as a plate over our plug hole, so that when the smoker is roughly sealed, we don't want it 100% sealed, but roughly sealed to stop our sawdust from catching alight when we're using the smoker. This has been used to make other smokers before and repair smokers, so I'm just going to take out this little bit of metal out of the washboard that I have here, save cutting into the other washboard. The other washboard I keep intact because if I need a big plate, when this eventually all rusts out, I'll be able to tack screw a big plate onto it. So try to use a small piece of leftover washboard if you can, or if not, you could cut a bit out of the original washboard that you've got. As you can see, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just has to be big enough to be able for you to be able to tack screw it over the plate, over the plug hole I should say, so that you don't get any air in. Alright, next process, our tech screws. Okay, so this is how our smoker looks on the inside. You've got a plate that's flush with the plug hole. We've got our tech screws holding the plate on the bottom. Now we need to do our lid. As I said, this is a barbecue lid I just picked up from a council cleanup. They're out all the time. In theory, if you don't want to, you don't have to cut that lid down, you could just leave it like that. But to make it a bit less unwieldy, we'll flip it over. We'll measure it out. I like to have a little bit of overhang on the lid. Don't try to make the lid too tight, because you'll just make it hard for yourself as the smoker expands and contracts. So leave a little bit left over. We also want to retain the handle that's on the outside of here, because it'll be useful for lifting the lid off when your smoked fish is ready, whatever it is that you're doing. So I'll move it up. I want to keep this reasonable size here, because if you notice, that was going to fit the other sink as well. So I'll get 2 smoker lids out of the 1 barbecue lid. Okay, I'll get my rule. We can try and do it roughly straight as much as I'm able. My apologies to you, all of you out there who are competent with power tools. But anyway, I'll get the job done. There we have our lid for our smoker. Let's just check and see how it fits. If I cut it too short, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Okay, perfect. Very good. All that we need to do now is put our cake rack in that's going to hold our smoked product off the bottom of the smoker, and we'll give it a test fire just over the flame to make sure that any impurities that we mightn't have got are burned out before. Here we've got a standard cake rack from the supermarket. Notice it's got the small mesh holes, very useful when you're doing things like chilies or garlic or anything like that you don't want to fall through the cracks. Also it gives a better support to your fish, makes it a lot easier when you're smoking fish. So all we're going to do to make it fit to length, we're just going to cut one end off and leave the supports in there. Hopefully this will fit. Right, we've had to knock a bit off either side of the cake rack to make it fit. And here it goes. In the smoker you can see it's got a nice distance, about 30 mils off the bottom of the smoker. That's important to keep your product off the sawdust and stop the sawdust from coming up and sticking onto the thing. Try to keep the maximum amount of surface area of your grill inside the smoker, as it'll help to stop things falling off into the sawdust and of course give you more room to actually cook stuff with. So there we have it, that's pretty much it. Smoker is ready to go. Whack on our lid. Whack on the lid. There you have it. Smoker ready to go. 10 minutes. Cost you practically nothing. A little bit of your time, a couple of tech screws and a cutting blade. That's about it.